you'll have one probe file. So reset tips. I'm just resetting tips. This is probably a bad you'll have one probe file, and it'll be this one. It'll be populated from the firmware. That'll be automatic.
Okay.
When you first load Demus, first fire it up, you will have a tool that's plugged in there. You'll want to make sure that the size is correct. Yours may be, but a lot of people's it reverts to that other value because of the metric English thing. So that, the mechanical offset, that's going to measure any error out of this whole buildup. So when they mapped the machine, they mapped it using a specific probe from this spot. So any error that's from here is mapped out of that by doing this process, because this is a mapped location. That's part of the accuracy map of the machine. So anyway, you do a measure, say yes, it's been moved, and it'll come up with a warning. Okay. And then it will come up with a statement, that one. That being said, that factory location is where it is right now. And when the probe or the datum sphere is not there, you'll see a red circle around that threaded hole.
Okay.
That's the MEA location. So you gotta answer the question. Return the screen is a done. Is like hitting done.
Okay.
Record deletes the point. Gotta put it in auto mode.
Okay.
And that will time out after 45 to a minute, and then that all goes off. To move the machine, you must press joy. You probably already knew that.
Yeah, we figured that out.
Okay. So it comes up with these values, and those are, that is the error from when it was mapped to what's in the map. So that now has adjusted that configuration to the MEA map.
Okay.
And that's the correction that it does. So at this point, the next probe that's going to be created, you will now have two probes in there, and it'll be these two. You'll have an MEA CalSphere and that one, providing you do not add your own probe tip file. So what I normally do is under this, I'll go ahead and measure that. If you need to add another probe file, you can. And at that time, you will say it's been moved. But
Now, when you say add another probe file, that means like if
tip.
okay.
No, if you add another tip file, or
if I change
where you
the,
need to move the datum sphere, then you would say it's been moved. And then, but if you can do everything there, great. If you can't, you are allowed to move it.
okay.
But at that time, you'll say it's been moved. So I'm going to just go ahead and do my tips and say no, it has not been moved, because it knows where it's at because that's the MEA location. This is me calibrating tips or machines. I always like to come off of the MEA location. And I always like to run DCC plus DCC. And you see, you can get around that with that configuration, but if you go any longer, you're going to have to move it and create another tool.
Right.
Call it other or center. And then at that time, you'll say, yes, it's been moved. But everything will be tied back to the MEA. In MeasureMax, we did a command for the MEA location, and then the locate sphere, we had a command to locate the sphere. And I won't get into the coding of that. And that's how all of this got done. So anyway, let's see how well we did. Okay, there's our results. Metric, about a tenth. So that's pretty much it for PropeCal. So now we'll go ahead and we'll try to fine tune these squares a little more. So no. Should be able to get around. Wait for it. Wait for it. I always like to put it in slow when I'm taking manual points.